If you ever feel out of control around food, you're not alone, and you're in the right place to learn practical, no-nonsense information about why you binge and how to stop. Binge eating does not mean that something is wrong with you. It's a natural but primitive brain response that you can correct. If you're ready for change, sign up for the Brain Over Binge self-paced online course for less than $20 per month. And if you feel you need personalized support, we also offer one-on-one coaching and group coaching. To learn more, go to brainoverbinge.com/subscribe. And I hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the Brain Over Binge podcast, where you learn a simple, brain-based approach to ending binge eating. I'm your host, Kathryn Hansen, and I'm the author of Brain Over Binge and the Brain Over Binge Recovery Guide. My mission in this podcast is to give you some simple information and practical ideas that you can use to end the binge eating habit. Today on the podcast, I'm going to be giving you a small gift, a simple resource that I hope will help you during the holiday season, which many of us are in right now, and also beyond the holidays as well. I'm going to give you one of my coaching audios that you can use to help yourself stay motivated each day to dismiss your urges to binge. And by give you, I mean play the coaching audio for you during this episode. If you're new to the podcast and to this idea of dismissing your urges to binge, know that you can get my free ebook in the show notes or on brainoverbinge.com. And that ebook will give you a lot of the background information that you need, and it will help you get started. And after reading it, the coaching audio that I'm going to play for you will make much more sense. To give you a little background, this specific coaching audio is called, "What is your motivation for dismissing binge urges today?" Motivation can be a bit of a tricky topic, because while yes, you do need to have reasons why you want to give up the binge eating habit, and you do need to have an overall desire for recovery, you are not going to feel motivated all of the time. And you don't actually need to feel motivated to dismiss your urges to binge and to nourish your body with enough food. Most people are familiar with some of the pitfalls of thinking that motivation is necessary in order to do the things that you need to do. So I'm not going to go too deep into that right now. But I just wanted to mention that because I do not want you to fall into the trap of thinking that you can only make progress in recovery if you're feeling motivated. You can make progress even at times when motivation is hard to find. Now, with that being said, most of us also know that it is easier to do the things that you need to do if you remember why you want to do those things, even when doing those things is difficult. Just as an example, you don't like doing the dishes, but you know why you're doing it, so that you can have a clean kitchen, which motivates you to do the difficult thing. It's easier to stay on track with any goal, even in the difficult moments when you know your motivations for going after that goal in the first place. It's the same with binge eating recovery. If you can keep your motivations in the front of your mind, it gives your higher brain more strength and more conviction to dismiss the harmful binge-promoting messages from the lower brain. When you know and focus on your reasons for wanting to avoid a binge, then when you have those habitual thoughts encouraging you to binge, you'll be better able to recognize them as just junk from the lower brain that you no longer need to pay attention to. The audio that I'm going to play in a few moments centers around short-term motivations for dismissing urges each day. It's not that bigger picture perspective, which is important too, and the focus of one of my other coaching audios. There are 14 total coaching audios included in my course, and you can get the coaching audios separately as well. I said 14 audios, but now there is actually a bonus 15th audio that you can use during the moments of an urge to help yourself avoid a binge. You can learn more about these audios on the homepage of brainoverbinge.com, and there's also a link in the show notes. If you are interested, then stay tuned until the end because after I play the audio, I'm going to give you a code that you can use for a discount. That's good from the time this episode is released until January 1st, 2020. So without further introduction, I'm going to play the audio. I recommend that you note the time that it starts so that you can come back and play it again whenever you need to. In this coaching session, you're going to be working on Recovery Goal 1, Dismissing Urges. The central focus of this session is motivation. You're going to connect with your motivations for dismissing urges today. You are not going to be worrying about tomorrow or the next day or the one after that. The goal is to dismiss every binge urge that comes up today. To do that, you have to know why you want to. You have to know why you do not want to binge eat today, even if your urges make it seem tempting at times. The goal of this coaching session is to connect you with your motivations so that those motivations stay with you in the front of your mind throughout the day. I'm sure you have a long-term or big picture perspective of why you want to stop binge eating for good. But for this coaching session, I want you to focus on the short-term benefits of not binge eating today. What I want you to do is think of one reason that you want to dismiss the urges to binge today. I know you have many reasons, but it's helpful to think of just one at a time. That way you can fully feel it and visualize it. You can come back to this coaching session again and again with other reasons that you have for not acting on binge urges today. The one reason or the one motivation you think of right now could have to do with having more energy to do something you have planned for today. It could be to be able to be more present to do work you need to do. It could be to have extra time to get things done or to spend with someone you care about. It could be to avoid those awful physical consequences of a binge. Or it could be so that you can go to bed tonight with a feeling of accomplishment, knowing that you'll wake up tomorrow feeling proud and not having to deal with the after effects of a binge. Take a deep breath and think of one reason you want to dismiss your binge urges today. Say that reason out loud if you can, or just say it in your mind. Say, I want to dismiss my binge urges today because, and you fill in the rest. Now focus on that thought. Repeat it to yourself if you want. I want to dismiss my binge urges today because. Now what I want you to do is imagine that you've already been successful today in dismissing urges, and you are already experiencing the positive results. Imagine that the reason you want to dismiss urges today has already become a reality. Take a minute to visualize yourself fully experiencing that binge-free reality as it relates to that specific motivation that you're focusing on. Really try to create the feeling of being successful and experiencing the benefits of not following your lower brain. I'm going to ask you some questions to help you visualize the positive benefits of dismissing urges. And depending on the scenario you're visualizing, focus on the questions that apply to you. How does it feel to not binge today? What pain do you not have to experience? What do you get to enjoy more? How does it feel to put your focus into a work project or task without feeling the regret and the discomfort of a binge, or the stress and shame of being in the middle of a binge while you're trying to complete that project or that task? What do you do today that if you binged, you may not have done? What's it like to have that freedom? This is not about imagining your life being perfect, or things going exactly as planned, or your work or your personal life being easy. It's about visualizing concrete benefits of recovery and connecting with your motivation to be binge-free, regardless of what else is going on in your life, or what problems or stress you may be facing. Your motivation for being binge-free today could be to help someone else through a tough situation. And of course, this may be uncomfortable and hard to see someone through a tough time, but being fully present for that person and doing what you can for them without binge eating bringing you down and taking your energy is a big benefit of dismissing urges. So even if this day will be difficult and challenging and stressful, there will still be huge benefits of not binge eating. I want you to reflect on that for a moment. If some thoughts pop up that tell you why you do not want to dismiss urges today and why you might want to binge, it's okay. This is normal, and it's just a product of your habit. Simply observe any thoughts that you have that encourage binge eating or that discourage dismissing urges, but do not give those thoughts attention. This is a great chance to practice dismissing those lower brain thoughts. You do not need to try to force those thoughts away. Just observe and then refocus on why you want to be binge-free today. What you've just done in this coaching session is to set yourself up to create a binge-free day. By visualizing yourself being successful in dismissing urges, You're strengthening the connections in your higher brain that you will need to make that visualization a reality. As you go through the day, bring to mind what you visualized in this coaching session, and remember that reason you want to be binge-free today. Remember your motivation. Before this coaching session ends, I want you to say your motivation one more time. I want to dismiss my binge urges today because. The more you remember why you want to dismiss urges, the more strength you give to your higher brain when those urges come up. Now go and have a binge-free day. That's the end of the coaching audio. I know that the holidays can be especially challenging for many of you, but when you keep your reasons for wanting to avoid a binge in your mind throughout even your most challenging days, you're setting yourself up for success. As I mentioned earlier, I'm offering a discount on the coaching audios this month, which is December if you're listening at the time this episode is released. You can use the code December 2019 without any spaces to get $10 off. And with that discount, the whole set of 14 audios, plus that bonus During the Urge audio that I mentioned, is only $21.99. I hope that having these audios will help you stay on track in recovery during the holiday season and beyond until you're free of the binge eating habit. The link to purchase is in the show notes or on the homepage of brainoverbinge.com. To use the code December 2019, you have to click the words "Have a coupon code" at checkout, and then a box will appear for you to enter the code. That's all for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening today. I hope you're able to listen to that coaching audio that I shared whenever you feel like you need some motivation and to refocus on why you want to avoid binges. During the holiday season and every day of the year, I want to encourage you and remind you that you have the power to change your brain and live a binge-free life. The Brain Over Binge podcast is produced and recorded by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC. All work is copyrighted by Brain Over Binge Recovery Coaching, LLC, and all rights are reserved. As a disclaimer, the host of the Brain Over Binge podcast are not professional counselors or licensed healthcare providers, and this podcast is not a substitute for medical advice or any form of professional therapy. Eating disorders can have serious health consequences, and you are strongly advised to seek medical attention for matters relating to your health. Please get help when you need it, and good luck on your journey. Need more help? You can find all of our current and upcoming options for support at brainoverbinge.com.